Hey guys, this is a presentation I have created for the Resume Project Challenge 11 of Code Basics. So there is a private media company named AtliQ Media, and they want to telecast a show on Lok Sabha elections of 2024 in India. But instead of going the traditional route of debate on who's going to win this election, they wanted to present insights from 2014 and 2019 uh, without any bias and discuss less explored themes like voter turnout ratios in India. And now there are several good suggestions that were given by manager Tony Sharma on what all we can ask from the data or get from the data. I have picked a few to present here from all that was uploaded in the and the all the solutions of the questions that were asked from Tony Sharma were uploaded to my GitHub repo. You can check it out on the link. And now without further ado, let's just start our presentation. So basically, to do the analysis, I have chosen Python as my go-to data analytics tool, and the language that I used was Pandas. Like the libraries that I have used were Pandas, Matplotlib, graphs for graphs, and Seaborn was also used for some part of the data analytics. Moving on. So the very first thing I thought to be interesting is age of the candidate. It must be a factor since India is a youth nation and it needs someone who can resonate with them. Surprisingly enough, 47 was the average age of the candidate, and the youngest candidate was 24 years. The oldest one was 90 years. Surprisingly, both the youngest and the oldest candidates are from Tamil Nadu. Moving on. Now we all know gender diversity is very important in any area of work, but unfortunately here our political system is slow in adapting despite government policy of pushing increased participation of female candidates. But there is a slither of hope. As we can see, there is a very slight uptake of woman participation in 2019 election as compared to 2014. As per the data, Chandigarh is a state and the female candidacy is greater than national average, which is 25%, and that's good. Next, the voter turnout ratio is a key matrix where we can derive several conclusions from it, like are like people are aware that they have power to bring a better change by voting if the ratio is good, or there may be more awareness, or they really want to change some candidate or bring him or her to power again. So that all things can be deciphered from voter turnout ratio. If the voter turnout ratio is low, it also means that things like the options which are presented to them in terms of candidate is not good enough, or the awareness is not good enough. There are some barriers which is created where people cannot go to vote, etc. So here you can see in the graph what all constituencies have highest voter turnout ratio and what all have lower turnout ratios. Now here we show constituency where the party that was in power was re-elected again, and also we can see that the trend is that if it gets selected before, again it was selected by more votes as compared to before. That can mean so many things, like the work the candidate is doing in their constituency is great, people really like the candidates, and so on. In the graph on the x-axis there is like the constituency and the party that was elected again with a separated by hyphen, and in the y-axis it's the voter turnout percentage. Then the opposite of this graph, or the opposite implies that the party which was not elected again was due to insufficient work done or the promises not being completed. Can you think of some other reasons? Comment down below, like why the party will not get re-elected. Now, this is an interesting fact that not that was not I was expecting. I was expecting that larger parties are competing from for votes and trying to get from other major parties, but Like in industries, many small players or like startups come into play, and then the fitter and the biggest survive. Similar type of consolidation is happening in top two parties, where the votes are consolidating or moving from smaller parties to larger parties. Like BJP and Indian National Congress are getting like the votes that they got in 2019 was more, but where does those votes are coming from? Those are coming from the other parties that are there. So we can see their uh, vote percentage is going down. In some cases, it's drastic, like zero in the 2019 election. So here you can see I plotted a graph based on constituency and the vote difference between like top five constituency where INC and BJP have gained the vote share as compared to 2019 and 2014. So there are several reasons which can contribute to this, and there one or two that I found was basically how the party has advertised in that constituency and how well the people have received it, and also one factor obviously is that the previous candidate that were there in the constituency have failed to deliver on the promises. That may also be a major reason. Then also these are like the top five constituency where the major national parties have lost vote shares, where the first one first table shows the INC, like Indian National Congress, where they have like in which state the constituency and what is the difference of vote shares that they have lost basically. And the second table, bottom five constituencies, is for the BJP, where they like Andhra Pradesh, uh, Tirupati. So basically 33% of vote difference is there between 2014 and 2019. Now this nota is a very interesting addition to the election ballot that was done in 2013. It was introduced as an alternate if you don't like any candidates, and has gained popularity since then. In some cases, the nota has got more votes than the top candidates. It was introduced to increase the participation of voters. Like it's like a protest by the citizens that they need some new, better candidates, or they don't like the existing candidates and they need to change that. So, but as of now, there is no such thing that has been done for nota. Like if nota gets higher vote, then there will be a re-election. But that is of course one of the improvements that can be done by the election commission, that if a nota votes get a higher percentage of votes than any of the candidates, there can be like a re-election or some other improvements that you can think of. So lastly, there was an interesting question that was asked by manager Tony, where they are talking about correlation of postal votes and voter turnout percentage. If you observe the graph that was plotted with voter turnout versus postal votes, most of the graph is clustered around the axis, y-axis, and it indicates that the correlation does not exist, or at least from the data we cannot derive that there is some correlation, or they are not correlated. So what can be done to increase the participation of voters? My input are to do data analytics of the voter data in every area, every district, everywhere, and plot the data on India's map, and basically create a heat map of where there are more voting versus less voting, and then try to identify by interviewing voters what makes them motivated or demotivated to vote, and implementing what encourages them, and solving what discourages them will do the trick, as well as educating voters about the importance of votes in a democracy. I conclude my presentation here, and thank you all for sticking with me the whole time, and thanks to Code Basics, Dhaval and Hemanand for creating such challenges which encourages people like me to get out of their comfort zone and try and learn new things.